Robert. Yo. Yo. Robert, how y'all doing? No, I don't know where the bubonic plague comes from. Robert. I don't know if your tax dollars pay for bunkers for the elite. YBC, what I mean? I did look into neurological science and ADHD. I'm doing my best. Greater than great, how are you? I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. You're the wrong live. All right. I'm saying, yeah, do your thing. I would not recommend shrooms for anybody, for anything. No. I would recommend therapy. I would recommend breath work. I wouldn't recommend shrooms. No. Shrooms is a whole different ball game. I've never done shrooms my whole life. And I wouldn't advise anybody to pick that up. It becomes a habit, just like all this other stuff. Now, it might be the wrong line for certain people. You know what I'm saying? Do I know the background for weed? What do you mean by that? Yeah. I tell everybody, stay away from shrooms, stay away from weed. Man, especially the youth. I'll stay away from all this addictive stuff. It'll be something that'll help you escape for a while, but then eventually you're going to have to tear that shit off you anyway. So don't even start. They trying to push this shit off to the little ones, the young ones. I'm telling the youth, don't even get into it. Because everybody that get to a certain point of the mountain, they realize they got to get out of it. You notice you ever talk to the people, the ones who didn't smoke, and some of y'all were these people who said it. You know what I'm saying? You offer somebody to smoke and they say they don't smoke, and what you said, that's good. Okay, if it's good that they don't smoke, why you smoking? I used to wonder that. People used to offer me weed, and I'd be like, no, I don't smoke. They'd be like, that's good, though, that's good. Then they start asking if you Muslim and shit. No, I'm just wise. Can I be wise without being Muslim? You know what I'm saying? And they be like, that's good. So you know it's good to not smoke. Well, you know what I'm saying? But then addiction is a whole different thing. You be thinking that you're getting rid of the addiction. It's not the addiction. It's the circumstances. It's a circumstance. You ain't going to be able to recover from no addiction if you're getting stressed out every day. You got to change your circumstance. You got to start making different decisions. You ain't going to be able to change that. You around them people, they smoking every day. You know what I'm saying? You just put more pressure on yourself. You know what I'm saying? You go through some shit, nigga hand you a blunt. Soon you say you want to start smoking, everybody gonna have free weed. You know what I'm saying? You was on a regular chronic. Niggas ain't had nothing to pass. Wasn't nobody trying to match. Soon you say I'm gonna stop smoking, then what happen? Everybody. Just everybody. It's just Christmas. Weed Christmas. You know what I'm saying? Marijuana Christmas. Merry Christmas. That's what it meant. Everybody has some shit there. And then, you gotta change your circumstance. I've studied all this stuff. You can do all this stuff, mental work, all this stuff one way. You still gonna have to change environment. Shift things around. Move it around, or it ain't gonna work. You got to shift what you're doing. You got to shift what, you know what I'm saying? And the hardest part is the class that I'm nervous about teaching people because it's one of those classes that you don't really just, it's called detachment. And I'm very familiar with it. Everywhere I go, I eventually have to do it in order to get out. It's a tough class, but you're going to have to eventually. So I'm taking my time with teaching that one. You know why? Because I don't like teaching anything I haven't done. I don't like teaching things I haven't applied. But in order for me to fully apply detachment, I'm not going to be Omari. It's going to be it's a whole different being. It won't be Faise. It's somebody different, and they just waiting on me to do it. Because I can't, you can care, but then there's something called caring too much. Everybody else is like, it's okay with them. Life goes on with them. You caring too much, you get weighed down. No matter what you do, you just weighed down. That class won't be one class. Let me tell you like that. That class will be ongoing. It won't be no, hey, come learn how to detach. You're going to see examples. It's going to be ongoing. Nah, if you got drugged back, you didn't detach, no, you. Detachment is less about outside, it's more about inside. You see, the things you worried about, why you care so much. You with me? You care about whether or not your classmates like you because you care about self-image. Why you care about self-image so much? Because you bought into the idea of existing as you. You have to let existing as you go. Listen, 99% of the spiritual community will not complete this degree. I know they won't because I'm right here in hell with them. And I know just based off of the information they're not even willing to let go of. The attachments, the worlds of illusion they done built around that illusion, they not letting that go. They not letting that go. It ain't people trying to choose people. It ain't going to be people trying to act like they chosen. And when you realize how small that tunnel is that you have to walk through, and a lot of people ain't going to fit through there anyway at any given time. And that's what it's like. What else can you do but detachment? That's all you'll be able to do. You'll see what I'm saying, because I tell y'all, I'm one of the exemplifiers. I show you. I don't like just telling. I used to say that all the time on Clubhouse. Those of y'all who met me on the Clubhouse days, what I tell y'all, I'll be teaching something, talking about something, then some niggas come in and exemplify the exact same thing I just said they'll do. And I tell you what, pay attention to the lesson in the experience. There's always a lesson in every experience. You with me? So I don't want to point to a dry erase board. You know what I mean? Detachment. I have to show you. You with me? Only one stopping me from moving forward in that degree is myself, because I'm waiting on everybody else to like realize what I've been saying, and they getting so used to me. They just know me. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all have to know what I'm saying. You got to know. I got to get people used to different pieces of it. A lot of people met me. Faise One, Omari, he was a lot more lenient. You know what I'm saying? A lot more watery, and the being that I'm transforming into was a lot more abrupt. He has a lot less emotion, and I'm like trying to hold him back. I'm not going to be able to do it. I can't do it because I'm trying to find all the ways. It's like sleep paralysis. And sleep paralysis, instead of just coming out of the paralysis, I always try to find a way, whether or not I can push the demon off me or roll over out of it. And every time I try to find another way to get rid of the situation, it just pushed back on me, literally. I have to just terminate it. I've never been able to find a way to get a demon off you in sleep paralysis, other than this one particular time where the motherfucker wasn't even necessarily on me. He was near me, and I jumped out of my body. But when the motherfuckers is on you, ain't no pushing them. You got to get out of it. You can't even. But I done tried everything in my power. Literally, every time I do it, I'm a student. Okay, Idris. All right, Adafa. So every time I go into a class or a school or a lesson, like sleep paralysis being one of them, I try. I say, maybe if I do it this way, please. I done tried everything in all the different ways. Nope. People are going to have to experience the beings. Listen, okay, let me give it like this. Keep it simple without going to other level. That poem that everybody be quoting when they say, like the excuses are tools, the incompetent, or when the lady, I can't remember her name right now, it's not crossing my brain right now. Start with an M. The lady who was like, what good is it that your light doesn't shine? You're not benefiting the world. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. If you dim your light, man, people gonna have to experience that shit. They're gonna have to experience it. But this being that I see, I'm gonna describe him for y'all again. He's standing upright. He's wearing a white robe. He has a purple glow, and either that's a purple sash over his shoulder, and he's looking at me, but he's not facing me. It wasn't Maya Angelou, some other sister, something William, I think. Mary Williams, something like that. I put it in Mary Ann Williamson, thank you. I think I put it in How to Speak Elite, if I'm not mistaken. Right? He's not smiling. He's not frowning. He's just waiting. And when I keep seeing it, and there's like, I don't know how to explain this. I don't know why I'm explaining this. Every time I see it, it's like they waiting. They're like, when? Everybody's waiting on me. I don't know when. It's like them last moments where you holding them doors open. You see, detachment is where I'm headed. I know. Because I just start looking at things differently. It's like everything just looks different. And it's been looking different lately. It's been feeling different lately. Like I've been getting them ringings in my head, not even in my ears. Ringing, pressure, everything. People, I don't know, it's just everything looked different. It looked different. It sound different. And it's like that character in the movie where they start thinking maybe if they just get themselves out the way, everybody will be good. It ain't even that. It's the being that you trying to hold back got to come out. He got to come out or she got to come out. It ain't you in the way. That's why I put it in the song, Whole Time Was I in Their Way. Right? That song ain't even came out yet. I think it's called Lost Found. Right? The lyrics was like, what do I do? What do I say? They don't receive me anyway. Mission complete. Message relayed. But whole time was I in their way. Yeah, really, because are they going to keep trying to use me as a scapegoat? I'm blocking so many people's karma and us. And how many times you going to be the voice of reason for when they going to reason to listen to the voice? You see, what's the reason for the voice when they going to figure it out? When you just step out of that and it just become what it's transforming into, then everybody's going to have their own hand on their own cross. And that's what I'm nervous about. I'm nervous about it. That's responsibility. That's why when the talks of the barotheric gland came up and people would walk up to Malachi and be like, yeah, I got my barotheric gland. He would allow them to do like some of the things that some of y'all do when y'all claim to be this and claim to be that. Malachi would enable you to do that. He'll let you. I am this, that, and the third. He'll say, okay, cool. And he'll put you in position that Elijah has because you say you Elijah. And let the simulation, the scenario eat you alive because you said you were that. So people will come up to Pop say, I got my barotheric gland, right? And ask her like, yeah, do I got my barotheric gland? You see my barotheric gland? And Pops would touch up under their chin and say, yeah, you got the barotheric gland. And they go off and he said he let them do that. This is Ancient Mystic Order Melchizedek teachings, the Cosmosan teachings. He said he would let them do that. Why? He said, for one, if you had your barotheric gland, you wouldn't have to ask if you had it. You would know. Also, You wouldn't even have to say that you had it. You could telepathically communicate it, right? What's the point there? Let them think that. He let them move on and do whatever they had to do to get themselves out the way. And he was saying, a lot of you, if you have your bear theory, if you did get your powers, the first thing you're going to want to do is try to show everybody. Try to tell everybody, look what I can do. I look at the niggas out here playing with water bottles. You know what I'm saying? Go push and all that, pushing water bottles with air and lifting wind off of wind, waiting on the right breeze to come through and calling it aerokinetic. Look at what they doing. First thing they want to do is run and display when they say they got some powers. And them ain't even powers. Those are waiting for the right moments to move your hand with the wind and pushing over empty water bottles. And the first thing you want to do, you don't even know, they run out to try to display it, not knowing, man, these powers is, with great power come great responsibility. This stuff ain't no joke. You see? Then you hop on these apps trying to act like they got these powers. Yeah, as soon as you do that, CIA looking. As soon as you do that, they got their eye like, what's going on? Oh, that nigga just blowing wind. They just put you on the full list. They don't put you on the full with list. They just put you on the full list. Niggas not to worry about. If you ever come up in their algorithm, they just know not to worry. I don't think they got them type of lists. They got worry about them lists and they got don't worry about them niggas lists. They ain't worry about none of them niggas pushing bottles over. If anything, they just gonna be like, make sure you recycle that. Shit. So it's a different thing. It's a different feeling. Having a responsibility of like having everything on your back and then you trying to tell everybody, I'm not going to be able to hold it forever. You see, like the movie where he holding the gate so everybody can get through, but you got to hustle up. You got to hustle up. Because after a while, he got to move. Y'all will see what I'm saying, though. I don't like just saying it. Y'all will see because things are going to start shifting. It already has, though. You see how people come in and ask me certain things, all right? And a lot of it's rapid fire and things that I used to, it's happening abruptly, though, quickly. I used to talk to my Umi about this since I was like 15, 16 years old. I say, Umi, every 2 weeks I go through another conscious shift. I don't even know how to explain it or what to call it. But every 2 weeks I go through another shift in consciousness. And it's happening again, but now it's like daily, where the only thing that keeps me in certain mind frames is me attempting to hold them gates open for people to walk through. My thing that I'm concerned about is that people aren't moving quick enough. And they think because they see me swimming in the water that I can't walk on it. And I'm like, okay. Like, go listen to that song, The Sermon, I think it was. Say, don't think I can't walk on that water just because I'm swearing with you. I just heard them say, let them see. So it'll be that. It'll have to be that you have to show. You have to show. That's the passion of the cross. Passion of the Christ. It's suffering. Because the forgive them, Father, they know not what they do. All of that. The crying before. Stay up and keep watch while I go and pray to Father. And he cries. And they say he cried so hard. The tears was hitting the ground like blood. You see, I just had one of them cries, didn't I? And y'all were on live and witnessed it. And I couldn't do, it wasn't nothing I could do about it. And can't nobody ever say, this nigga Faise ain't real. You can't fake no cry like that. You can fake cry, but soul can be felt. And I couldn't do nothing but holler and wail. I tried. The wailing really was from me trying to hold the shit back. Shit sound like a super saiyan. Because you trying to hold this shit back for everybody. Everybody got opinions. Everybody got to say this. Everybody think they know you. And you doing everything in your power just to give a few more people the opportunity because you don't know what's coming. You don't know. You just don't know. You don't know what's coming in your lifetime. And you don't know what's coming after it. So, after a while, you got to take them robes off. You see what I'm saying? After a while, you got to take off the makeshift beard and the mask, and the guy got to come out. But they never ready. They never ready. You see? Remember when Malachi said, I take off my robe, I put on my suit, and I become Dr. York, and I go out and attempt to teach the people and reach them where they at, from where they at. And niggas out here talking about, yeah, Malachi, he was a disco singer. And then he started teaching. That's backwards. He was already teaching. He cared enough to go into the world to put the messages out there. He was giving you the songs like Wake Up Everybody and Ain't No Stopping Us Now. And you know what I mean? He brought you the Commons, the Nas's, Mos Def's, Music Soul Childs, India Ari's, Erykah Badu's, Andre 3, the whole neo soul lineup. Okay? He brought Stevie Wonder. He was giving the world messages and messengers because he said we got to go out here to these people and get them. You see? And he had a plan. He said we got to reach them. By 1970, you had to reach a certain amount of people. And from 1970 on up, listen, he was teaching and planning this before my mother was born. He said that the 1970s children, right, which is my mother in them generation, she's 1974, go figure. He said the 1970s children were going to give birth to angelic seed. And the angelic ones that were birthed from the 1970s children were going to be able to, actually, he said that the 1970s children would be angels. I have to make sure I say it right. He said the 1970s children would be angels. There would be children who were birthed during the 1970s. That doesn't mean every person born in the 70s. There would be children who were birthed in the 70s who were going to be angels. And those angels were going to come in and give birth to the indigo and crystal children, or the star seeds, some call it the golden child or the golden children. And those golden children, star seed or crystal children, all right, or those special children or gifted ones, as they called in the school programs, they would have the ability to touch the information, the books, listen to the teachings and the tapes, and their genes would be activated when they did it. Now, if he's lying, I don't exist. That's all I'm going to say. I can't vouch for everybody else. I can't vouch for anybody. Okay? But if he's lying, then there is no Omari. There's an Omari. So he's not lying. My Umi is one of those angel children who gave birth to an indigo child. Literally, the light I came through is indigo. Okay? I'm 1998 also, so that was an anomaly. I came through indigo, and here I am now, and it's like I'm still the same tones, the same being, still pushing through. He was right. He was right. And then he also said that after a while, all the incarnates will have to allow for, if you're an Ilmutajesta, avatar, you have to allow the avatar you to come out. Like the movie or the TV show, the franchise, Avatar. All right? Where they said they were waiting for the avatar. I think they waiting for me. Right? They were waiting for the avatar to come out. And the avatar running around doing all kind of shit, chasing stuff, playing, doing what he does. He came here to play. Listen. Yet then he had to find a way to get in tune with each of these elements, each of these four corners of the pyramid or the cross as you know it. So he could activate as the master bender, bending reality to his will. He had to go through all the schools. Go back and watch that cartoon, Avatar. See if Ang doesn't remind you of Omari. Okay? One of the hardest things Ang had to go through was them last few points in the chakras, especially the crown. All right? That's detachment. Them last pieces are falling off. And then it's like, you see them eyes, they glow, like you see in my profile picture, all right? He has to go through it. There has to be not just the incarnation has to become the being. The same way you can get a possession, you got to look at it like this, all right? A parasite can enter into your body, all right, and start taking over, sometimes literally attaching itself to your nervous system, your brain, your stomach, your intestine, all right, and changing how you feel, think, all of that. In the same way that venom can come in and integrate itself and interweave itself into your being, the same way you can have what you refer to as angelic incarnations that will have to do the same. However, the parasites start to change your chemicals in your bodies where you'll experience certain chemical imbalances and things like that. They'll change certain things in you where you'll start making certain decisions to better suit who? The parasite. The difficulty for those who have those genes, okay, that would be called the angelic incarnations, and also the ability to incarnate certain incarnations, your challenge would be, as opposed to that incarnation causing for things to change in your being so that you could better suit it, you had to activate your will to cause certain things to happen in your being to better suit it. And how hard or difficult or challenging can that be when the world you exist within is constantly reinforcing environments internally and externally that will support negative housers or parasites? You see? So then you're in that seat as the driver or the steering wheel, okay, holding the steering wheel. And sometimes you have to tell Jesus to take the wheel, or God to take the wheel, or divine to take the wheel. Give your life to God. What does that mean, though? It means you have to sacrifice yourself and put yourself up on that cross. It's written. You have to do it. And when you put yourself up on that cross, that's like, well, okay, the Machiavelli of faking your death. It means you're not dying for real. That's what faking your death means. If somebody fakes their death, like when they say Tupac Shakur, all right, everybody says it's 7 days. And you listen to my music, what I say, 7 days over. Okay, and you start piecing things together, and you realize September 13th is when Tupac left, and 7 days later, all right, meaning 7 days from the 13th is my birthday, September 20th. Say the 7 days is over. Expect me to return in what? 7 days. 7 days. Machiavelli. Okay, are you paying attention? The faking of the death concept comes from that person who's willing to take up their cross and sacrifice themselves. For what? The greater good. That greater good is the new being, the transformed being that goes and operates from the upper room and above. This is Jesus' story. You see, and all of us have to go through it. So when people be caught up on whether or not somebody's trying to be Jesus or not, listen, you can't play the role of Jesus. You see, you either are one of them or you're not. And if you think there's only one Jesus, you're not familiar with the story. There are plenty Jesuses. There are plenty of them. Jesus is a word. They gave him the name. All right. There's a few names they get. I think it was the book of Matthew, chapter 1, verse 21. All right. I think that is. Y'all go fact check. I think it's 1 verse 21 through 23. Or 1 verse 2 through Matthew. You got to go read Matthew. Where they was explaining about the name. Okay, you had the name Jesus, Asa. Right? And then you have Emmanuel, which meant God with us. And Omari is my name. And Omari means God. It doesn't just mean God. It means highest also, or highborn, or flourish. To flourish. All right, or flourish. So Omari doesn't need to be Jesus. Jesus is a story speaking about Omaris. Does that make sense? Now, if you're a Christian, it may not register right now because somebody gave you these stories and attached images to them. There's a lot more work you have to do surgically to remove the images. There should be no images of anybody calling themselves God or the Son of God. Okay? That's supposed to be God or a piece of God or Trinity, any of that. There should be no images. So now you got to remove the images. You got to go in and remove who you think Jesus is. And you have to read the stories. And you have to realize that before Jesus ever popped up, you had the John the Baptists, the Moseses, the Elijahs, okay, Melchizedeks, all right? You had all these other prophets or people who had roles in the story that had to do certain things, okay? Jesus wasn't the only one doing miracles. Look, the Moses parting the Red Sea, that was a miracle. Elijah setting the wood on fire that was already moistened, that's a miracle. Okay, there are a lot of miracles that had already been done. They had already walked through these orders. Okay, it was Paul's regime that set up that Jesus was supposed to be the main person of the story to be worshipped. Jesus didn't even want that. You see, It was never supposed to be that. It was supposed to be that everybody knew they could take up their cross, activate it. You're all children of God, all of you. Just don't get it twisted. Make sure you walk through these orders, go through this, go through that, activate yourself. All right, know the truth. He said, people say nobody can get to heaven but through Jesus. They don't know what they're saying. They just don't know. Because what they're trying to quote is when he said, I am the truth, the way, and life. No one will reach unto the Father but through me. He said who he was. 1, 2, 3, truth, way, life. If you don't have the truth, if you don't have the way, and if you're not one of the living souls of the life as opposed to the dead, okay, one of these orders, if not the orders, you found your way another way, then you will never reach the Father, heaven, okay? You'll never be able to do it. And right above the pyramids is what they call Orion, which is heaven, Oranos. Go look it up, Oranos. It means heaven, Orion. You'll never be able to reach it if you don't find your way. So there's so many different ways that splits up where you can get a meaning, extract the meaning of what is being said in these stories. You see, so everybody get caught up in Jesus, not understanding you're saying a name and you don't know who that is. When Jesus was meeting with them, I think it was in the book of Matthew chapter 17, the book of Mark chapter 9. All right, you go read Matthew 17 and Mark 9. I think those are two occurrences or two writings of the same occurrence where they met on top of a mountain, an elevated plane, and there were two people there that had already supposedly passed away from the earth plane, yet they passed away in so much that they did not pass away, Elijah and Moses. You see, and they were standing there way after their time talking to Jesus because they had already elevated from the plane and they didn't see death. They made it to the Father. Those who didn't, okay, that's why I tell y'all, pay attention when people like Umar Johnson say, if I have to die, right, to experience my heaven, that's a religion I don't want. I don't want that religion because they're saying I have to die. And I tell you, that means he didn't read the story. He's not versed in the Bible. The Bible literally says the opposite, that you don't die to get to heaven. You don't die. You have to endure to the end, and then you will be saved. You'll experience salvation. The 144,000 are redeemed from the earth, and they're alive. Elijah did not die to get to heaven. He left alive. You see, Moses didn't die to reach heaven. He left alive. There are people who leave this plane alive. Jesus didn't die and go to heaven. He left alive. You see, they don't read their stories. And when you don't read, you leaving it up to the pastor and his energy and the raspy voice and the concert where they playing the drum and they playing the piano. You don't need all of that for me to hear the Most High's word. Just tell it to me straight. Let's read it. Let's not play around with it. Let's not do all this screaming and yelling. Okay, let's not talk about my rent. Let's go right into what it is that God was supposed to have imparted upon these writers so that I can know what he's saying. All the rest of that is what? Theatrics, the act tricks, the act tricks. And we don't need that. Okay, you can act and trick people or trick people to make you think that there's action taking place and they'll just be under a spell until somebody comes along with right knowledge and undoes that spell. You know you don't know who Jesus is. You got to stop playing now or you're not one of us. You have to stop playing. Now you have to know what's being said. Tell the pastor he's going to have to calm all that down. Because, yeah, we enjoyed the spirit of the church. We enjoyed that. We enjoyed, okay, we saw the show that they put on, the Pentecostal church. Don't none of them speak in tongues. Y'all know y'all don't speak in tongues because you're not saying anything that can be translated for some people to, like, okay, I know what he's saying. You just hubba shubba dubby dubby. I told you what they saying. Remember, I told y'all that. Not by the long shot, Shotty Dante. I don't know who Shotty Dante is, but they always telling him, not by the long shot. Not by the long shot, Shotty Dante. You know you ain't saying nothing. But then they got everybody else fooled, including the grandmothers of ours, fooled that these people are in tune with God, mocking the story. You're making a mockery of speaking in tongues. That's blasphemy. Because when they spoke in tongues, they said people were able to hear what was being said and they could comprehend it. Y'all know y'all sitting there waiting on this nigga to be like, and I mean by that, then they don't ever tell you what he means. Just shabba-dabba-dabba-dabba-dabba, shabba-dabba-dabba-dabba-dabba, not by a long shot, shot it on thing. You know what I'm saying? You know, leave a dollar up, what is it? Leave a dollar up under the seat. Leave a dollar, put the dollar, leave a dollar up under the seat. What is he saying? And there's no translation. And these people get upset with me when I said, excuse me, can you tell me what that meant? I got to get out the church. I'm a devil. I don't have the ear to hear. All right, how about this? Prove it. All y'all in here that's sitting up in here with your fan waving it, looking at me with your nose turned up. Tell me what this nigga just said. Everybody at once. Go. All y'all gonna say something different. Because you know they ain't say nothing. So the games is over. All right. We if you're talking about Jesus being a real people, a real person, Moses, Elijah, these people being real people, they pop up after they leave. So Jesus is able to pop up after he leave. Why were they able to just appear to him and talk with him? And these weren't spirits, because they said they were going to make shelters and tents for them so they could be there up under them tents for however many days they thought they were going to be there. But them niggas wound up just disappearing into whatever craft was hovering above them as a cloud. This is serious. I mean, this is serious. This is serious. You know what I mean? One thing you have to know about Dr. Malachi Z. York, all right, one of those ones, the one thing you need to know about him is when he was teaching the doctrine, all right, of how to dismantle and unravel all of the Christian fallacies, Islam fallacies, or Muslim fallacies, Judaic fallacies, Buddhist and Hinduist fallacies, all fallacies of the nations that they were coming up with, nation of gods of the earth, nation of Islam, all of them. When he was doing all that, he said that there were people all around him that was excited. They loved it. They loved bashing people upside the head. He said as soon as he went into the Jesus doctrine and started teaching the love of Christ, all them demons started falling away. He said, but it was good when I was attacking. It was good when we were calling them out. It was good when we were tearing things down. As soon as it was time to rebuild, they ran and fled. You have to know what's being taught at what point in time and why. You see, you have to know something about him, that he would go into the mosque disguised as another person. And he would sit and they'd be talking shit about Imam Isa, which is him. So he would sit with them. And it's not hard to cloak yourself as an Islamic person or Muslim, if you might imagine. All you gotta do is cover everything. So he would sit with them and they would talk shit about him. And guess what he would do? He wouldn't lose his composure and say, y'all got to start talking about me. I'm right here. Guess what he would do? He would talk shit with them about Imam Isa, which is himself. You see? And then he would go on and then he knew what was moving because he was able to move like that. So now you're in a day and time where it's happening around you all the time. You don't know who you're talking to. And I'm watching people, you see, and I'm doing my best because every degree it gets more intense and more intense and more intense. Let me tell you something. You walking close with me, you got a decision to make. I've been told y'all stop responding to and replying to everybody that's coming in the name of Rahubat or Yanun or Malachi and all this other stuff. That notice they're not trying to talk to me, but they want to source the people who have gotten to the point of being able to walk in the way that I walk, speak in the way that I speak, vibrate in the way that I notice. I'm not saying like me. I'm saying in the way that I do. Because if we're walking across a tightrope and I hold my arms out so that balance is maintained and I get to the other end, yeah, you walk in the way that I walk, not walk like me or be me or try to. That's not what that is. You walk in the way that I walk so you can get over there too. They playing these games. They trying to get to y'all because they see y'all as weaker links. They don't think you got a psychic self-defense to be able to maintain that what do you call it? That buffer of you can't get past this. That's why I tell y'all, when they step to you, tell them, come to me. And you need to be asking yourself, why are they coming to you? As opposed to coming to me. So use that name. My name, Faise One, has been created as a buffer. Where they know the whole conscious community, all they lineups, they leaders, they ran from me. The industry music artists had somebody else used to be on Clubhouse with me. They said it recently. They said, I do notice that. Don't nobody respond to Faise because they're running. You think they're running from me. What they're running from is what? Truth. Truth. Truth is their worst nightmare. You got that much truth coming out. Listen, the brother who I see beyond reality, who you see me doing certain content or pro-tent pieces with him, You listen to them 3 that we just put up. It ain't like anything that anybody is saying. Why you think they running? Why you think they're afraid? What do you do? Somebody had a statement and say, I don't know what's going on with this brother. There's just so much hostility. I didn't even respond. Somebody else responded. They're like, what's the hostility? I said, don't waste your time. Why would you waste your time? Y'all been around long enough to know that the people who claim that they have issues with me and all that, if they come on here and talk to me, it changes immediately. Don't even waste your time anymore trying to explain it to these people and da-da-da-da. And what do you mean hostile? Okay, fine. Truth is hostile then. Because whatever it is that you pushing off, you know what I'm saying? That's what it's affecting you. But you want to know why people will have that resolve or why people will have those statements made? Let me tell you why. Because when you first start listening to Faise One's voice or Mari's voice, and he's explaining these things, everything that you believe in most of the time is challenged within the first 3 to 9 seconds of me speaking. So you're trying to come for the person, talking about the person is hostile. No, he's not. The person is challenging something, and I do it so quickly and swiftly. I'm swift in account that you can't counter what I'm saying. You can't. You're not capable. You don't have the time. And some people say they got to take 6 months to come back. And by the time 6 months, y'all been paying attention to what I told y'all, right? After them 6 months was up, you think I was going to stay where I'm at the time that you're saying you need 6 months? As you advance, so do I. You advance in a linear fashion. I don't. I advance exponentially. So they're gathering and so am I. And yet I'm on the move and they're trying to focus on this one thing to try to debate one doctrine, Hebrew Israelite doctrine. We all over the place, conquering different realms at one time. So it ain't, I'm telling you what it is. It's always that. They never have a problem with me. They don't have no problem with me. They can't have a problem with me. It's just that I'm saying things, they can't combat it. They look at the questions and see how these other people respond to them. And when these other people respond to these questions or these types of questions, it fits their narrative and their rhetoric that they already used to. They ask other people, who do you think the Most High is? Or the Most High is just our higher self. I mean, I can give you the whole script of the conscious community. The Most High is our higher self, is the source, the creator. Everything that we are not is just the super high vibrations, the frequency that you rise up to a certain point where you reach your divine self, your supreme self, your goddess and God. We're not just people, we're goddesses and gods. So when we reach our Most High, it's like saying the highest self. And they haven't said anything. They think they're saying something. You want to know why they've been thinking they're saying something? Why? Because nobody's asking questions. Everybody's just repeating. So you don't have anything to ask. You don't have anything to challenge. And you start maintaining the illusion. That's it. It's just illusionary maintenance. And then somebody comes in with a shovel. Somebody comes in with a team and say, we got to move this building. It's old. Well, we've been in this building for 50 years. I know. It's time to move it. It's old. It's not functioning. It's abandoned. Y'all ain't take care of this. Y'all ain't take care of that. You see, them building code violations ain't no joke. You see them getting rolled out. You got to look at what's being pointed out. Yeah, you got 39 cracks in this window. You don't think it's time to replace the window. You see, okay, I'm walking through your basement. You see, you hear that? That's water. Your basement is flooded. That's going to cause a problem with this, the wiring. There's all this other stuff. They say, this nigga's an agent. This nigga's hostile. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And what's so crazy, this ain't even my house. This ain't even my house. I told y'all, I'm one of the ones we walk through. After we done, we walk out and we dust off our sandals. Do y'all see me over there with the Rashad Jamal crowd? No. Do y'all see me begging them to unpsychosis themselves? No. They thought it was going to be that. What happened? I walked through, gave them the opportunity to walk out of there. I stood in front of that bus and said, this bus leads nowhere. They stayed there. What'd I do? I kept walking. Do you see me over there with the 607 crowd? Do you see me over there with the Smoke the Creator crowd? Do you see me hanging around, lingering? Do you see me over there at 19 keys or 19 fees and them comments on their live and sitting there talking shit? Do you see me over there with anybody that walked through that were illusionists? You see me over there? No. After I put out that alarm and people want to attack, they throw their stones, whatever, we just keep walking and we dust our sandals off. Okay, then you must like illusion. I'm going to let you have it. You got it. I mean, it's so serious. Just let them have it at this point. So that's why it ain't no, they're not mad. They can't be mad at me. What I do, you don't even know me. You see, it's the truth that I speak that challenges them. They're not ready to grow. I'm not saying I know it all. I'm saying I have a key called the question mark. It can get you through any door. ASK. Ask, seek, knock. Get you through any door, which is why they don't want to debate. Because soon they try to debate, they're not used to questions. You see, so them questions pop up and they weren't ready for that. They thought I was just going to bring more talking points. No. Let me ask you a question. And then once we figure out this is your belief, oh, we're done. We can't be done. Yes, my friend, we can't. And we are. We're finished. They hate that. Y'all ever notice that? They hate when it gets to that point. I was like, oh, okay, well, how do you know that? Well, Oh, well, how do you know that, though? Because But how do you actually know it? You're telling me that the ancient Egyptians did this, that, and the third. How do you know they did it? Were you there? No. So who told you that? I learned it from myself. No, you didn't. You're lying. You didn't learn it from yourself, because if I Google it, this is what this person said, that person said, that person saying. All right, if you learned it from yourself, you just trust yourself. Did you fact check it? You see what I'm explaining to you? How do you fact check history? This is where the illusion starts to shatter and they don't like it. We was this, we was that. When was you there? Where were you born? I was born in Michigan. Okay, what year? 1930. All right, 1930 ain't far enough to be talking about the Mayas and the Aztecs who moved through there. So you don't know what you're saying. You believe it. Okay, well then this is what they had to hear me say. Y'all know what I say. I respect your belief. I don't accept it. That should be the end of it. That's when they start swinging the hardest. That's when they start fighting and calling me hostile and agent. And they tried everything in the book, didn't they? I'm about to get out of here, y'all. But they tried everything in the book, didn't they? They tried the Freemason thing. I said, y'all lost. Y'all already lost that one. Because the only way you see a Freemason emblem is because I put it there for you to see it. So you didn't expose anything. You fell for it. Now, if anything, you're exposing what? Yourself. Because you see an emblem because I showed you the emblem. And I was like, aha, we knew it. You knew what? What I just showed you? Then how come you didn't know that before I showed you? And how many Masons, how many Freemasons, how many Boule agents are in your conscious community and they're not wearing the emblem? And then you see me get on live with a Mason and we're talking about Masonry and I ask him questions in front of y'all about Masonry and he says, change the subject. Y'all ask me questions about Masonry. I say, da 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 da. By the time you finish, you feel damn near like a Mason. But you talk to Masons and they conceal. I'm the only Mason on the internet not concealing. Why? Because at age 16, when you was in the house playing 2K or screaming at the screen, talking about, he's one tap. I was in a lodge. I was in the books. I was walking through orders that you think are myth. I was on the move. We had genies in our community. We had sheiks in our community. I knew where all the hot spots were, all the cold spots too, the red and the blue houses and the green ones you're not aware of. I was on the move and there's proof. I mean, what else it's one thing to be able to say it. There's proof. The biggest video before I even knew it was going viral just went viral out of nowhere. 16-year-old Mason teaches class 8 of knowledge. A video I didn't even record and I didn't even post. That was some shit that just happened to be recorded because people were curious in class when we had a substitute. They were curious about what I was teaching who? Pharaoh Clan. Look how it all comes around full circle. What's the fundraiser for? Pharaoh Clan Records. Pay attention. It's not over. So the sisters in the class was like, what do y'all learn in Pharaoh Clan? I said, what have you always wanted to know? You know what they go right to. What happens when we die? I don't know why. It's the first question you ask when niggas start waking up or accessing woke information is something about some death shit. They all, okay, you woke? Yeah. What happened when we die? Man, damn. I mean, they ask you so many times, you don't even have to form a new answer. You just have to regurgitate the same one over and over again. It works. Once you tailored it to fit each individual person, you see. So they were asking questions like that. What happens when we die? What about Genesis? What about the Bible? What about God? What about Adam and Eve? What about? And I just explained it. And then one of the brothers started recording. I didn't even know he was recording. I wasn't even paying attention to that. You don't ever see me look into the camera and say, see, y'all need to pay attention to this. I was talking. I didn't even see the camera. Go watch it again. I'm on the move, just teaching everything that I could tell them. Any piece I could give them. That video went viral. It went viral with one of them other videos. I think, what's the dude name? KRS-One was teaching about the voice inside and all of that. I mean, that was a big thing. A lot of people woke up from that video. And I was telling the people who was in Pharaoh Clan at that time, who I was working with the brothers, and then the sisters was like, we want to learn. I was working with the brothers because I saw the condition of the brothers in the community at that time. So I wanted to work on them. We were working in a place called Archive Building, which I showed them was a Masonic building. What I told y'all, arc is arcane. Arcane means secret. When you say the word hive after arcane, a secret hive, a beehive. Secret bee. Bee is what? 13. 13 is a secret. Sacred number. How? Because sacred is 13. M. Is the sacred. Mother, madre, meter. Okay, metu neter, sacred word, okay, or the word of God, the divine word. I explained all of that to them, right? Also on Carver High School's campus, there are 9, what do you call it? An obelisk in the middle of the campus that's pointing upward like a sundial, and there are 9 levels on it. That's Rosicrucian. I was teaching the things I was learning in the Rosicrucian order on my high school. Anybody that went to high school with me from Slime Light Shawty, Nudo Fi, the rappers that's out here, people that's in the community. If you ever, even some of y'all might be in here, they'll tell you, nah, he's not lying. He's not lying. One of my teachers walked up to me one time. I was sitting, I had to be 15, 16 years old. I'm sitting in the middle of the campus next to the obelisk needle, okay, meditating. In the middle of class, I'm in the middle of school. Everybody in class. He walked across the campus. He said, yo, what's up? Why you're not coming to class today? I said, I don't feel like coming to class. He said, what? I never forget, teacher named Terry Garner. He taught math, AP statistics. He said, you're not coming to class today? I said, I don't feel like coming to class. He said, you don't feel like class? He said, well, then what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to listen. And he just looked around. And then he walked into his class. He walked over because his class was in the archive building. So he walked over and went to his class. I was serious. I sat there and I listened. And I would do that. Okay, I walked through the halls like an Ethereum. I'm not lying. Had a military, what do you call it, a militant, what do you call it, a superintendent? I think it was called it in school, superintendent named Mr. Render. Go figure. And Mr. Render would do this thing where when the bell rang, all right, he went around rounding people up and putting them in the ISS, in school suspension. So he would call people, say, such and such, office now, such and such, office, as soon as he see you. And I walk right past him. What'd he say? Mr. Hargrove? I say, Mr. Render. And they looking at it like, how you let him through? I didn't exist. I was warping through the hallways, finding people, planting seeds. Remember them little unks? Everybody walking around with them diamond unks with the rappers, Young Thug and them? Who you think they got that from? I was planting seeds because they were walking. The YSL niggas was asking me, what gang? I think them niggas were Crips. So one KOG of a whole bunch of niggas. They'll be out on the courtyard surrounding me and I'm teaching. And they asking me questions. And like, man, this nigga smart as hell. You know what I'm saying? And they getting their questions answered. Like Hot Boy Jimmy, when I said in the letter to Lil Baby, Hot Boy Jimmy, his brother Cold Hearted, right? DT, we used to call him DT, right? Or Cold Hearted Savage. I don't know if he's still doing music and I ain't seen him in a while. All right. But him and his brother, we sit in Miss Thompson class. And Miss Thompson already knew. Because the work was I was so advanced. I already done the work. We sit in the back of the class and talk like everybody else in class doing work. And them same two brothers every day, they come in after they get done doing what they were doing when they was outside. They come in. All right. They in a certain state. And I'm just planting seeds. They got questions about everything, mostly about Illuminati, all this other stuff. I'm answering everything I can just so they can get the information. It was like that on and on. The teachers would sit and talk with me and get information from me. The Masonic brothers at the high school, I remember Mr. Lewis, I think his name, Mr. Owens. His name was Lewis Owens, I think. Mr. Owens, he's a big Mason. So when everybody was finding out that I was a Mason, that was a big deal. They didn't know who that was, you know what I'm saying? Like, who's, especially the JROTC, you know, a lot of them is Masons. JROTC, the military people, they Masons. My chorus teacher, Reggie Gibson, when you watch the Battle movie and you hear me talking about Reggie G or Mr. G, that's Reggie Gibson. All right, Mr. Gibson, Mr. G. He's Mason. All right. I think everybody was Mason except the principal wasn't a Mason. The principal was, I think, Omega Psi Phi, some other shit. Because I remember one time I had the Masonic gloves on. I was in 9th grade going on 10th grade. No, I had to be in 10th going on 11th. But I had on the Masonic gloves. I think it was, I think 10th grade going on 11th grade or one or maybe 11th grade. But either way, he came up to me and was like, oh, you a Mason? And at the time, my answer was, I am. Because to an eavesdropper, it'll sound like I'm saying I am, but I'm really saying I am, which is 2 letters to represent 2 words, initiated Mason. Okay? So I say I am, because at that time, I was into the apprentice going through the pillars, right? So I say I am, right? And he said, okay, but he said, how old are you? Right? And I knew what he was asking, but I also knew what he was asking. So I answered it how I would answer it if anybody else regular was asking me a question. He said, yeah, you're not old enough to be no Mason. I said, let me ask you a question. And he just looked at me. I said, are you a traveler? He said, no, I'm not a traveler. He said, however, I'm Omega Psi Phi, and if I saw somebody with our paraphernalia on, back in my day, I'd snatch it up off them. I said, well, then do this for me. And I'm talking to the principal at breakfast. My pancakes, my juice. I said, well, do this for me. I sat my fork down. I said, listen, when you run into somebody wearing your paraphernalia as Omega Psi Phi, snatch it up off them. In the meantime, you're not a Mason. Why are you talking to me about Masonry? And he couldn't do nothing. What can you do? You want to tell me to take my gloves off? Or you going to run and go tell another Mason that already vouches for me? You see? So it was really like that in school. So it hasn't changed. So I went through them schools. So they try to use the Mason thing and the Freemason thing. They don't even know the difference between a Mason and a Freemason. They don't understand that science. Okay? When I tell them, people ask me, oh, you're a Freemason? What's my answer? What I be telling them? No, I'm not free yet until I leave this earth. I'm here in hell with you. You don't know what Masonry is. You've been on YouTube. Masonry goes back to the ancient Egyptian order. It's the oldest, most ancient order on the planet. It's just taking on different names over time. The Essenes, the Magi, okay, the Rosicrucians. Rosicrucian is still Masonry. As a matter of fact, our Scottish, because I'm Scottish Rite, our 18th degree in Scottish Rite is Rosicrucianism, ancient mystic order of Rosicrucianism. We're able to merge with the Rosicrucian science as soon as we become 18th degree. How many people don't know what he's talking about? So it's the oldest order on the planet. It's the same exact order that Jesus was a part of. So when people be like, I'm confused, you're a Mason talking about Jesus. Okay, Jesus was a Mason. They just didn't call it that. Same way, well, I'm a Christian and I'm not with that. If you say Christian to Jesus, he ain't gonna know what you're talking about. You see, Jesus wasn't a Christian. Yeah. You see? So now you're calling it Christianity. Christianity wasn't a thing when Jesus was around. Y'all make that up later. What order was he a part of? The ancient mystic order of Melchizedek. That's masonry. It's masonry. The square and the compass points to the pyramid. The cross that Jesus was on is a pyramid. You see? I mean, how many stories you want to go to? The Lazarus, pulling Lazarus out of the death, that's masonry. Baptizing people is masonry. Having to be born again, masonry. The whole thing is Masonic. Basic information or instruction before leaving Earth. They just made you think masonry was evil. And then ain't nobody caught me in no evil shit. Ain't nobody, they not even paying attention. I've been a Mason this long, supposed to be control opposition, and I ain't broke. I'm control opposition, yet I'm going to, and here's what you don't understand. Control opposition has support from the machine that they're operating for. I'm control opposition, but I'm not popping up in none of their blog pages. They're not letting me collaborate with any of the big ones. You don't see me out here just popping up everywhere. But niggas who literally been trained to infiltrate your community, literally trained to cast spells on people and draw life from people, y'all call them chosen and let them walk freely as they siphon from all your movement. And I'm telling you, that's a devil. Look at how they popped up out of nowhere. You didn't see that. This nigga literally, and his niggas, they come out of nowhere. Next thing you know, they're on everything. They're on everything. Adam 22, the Shade Room, what is it? The Say Cheese TV. They're everywhere. And the whole world just beholds them, think that they just found them by accident. They sat him on y'all. But why? Because they need people to counteract phase one. They can't war with me directly. Not in this war, especially because this is a war of will. As in, will you move to the right or move to the left? Will you ascend or descend? Do you have the will to ascend? All right, we're getting out of here at 10:30. You see what I'm explaining to you? So now it's coming out. I told you now it's coming out. Look what they're saying now. I was like, man, people send it to. Why y'all sending it to me? I've been told you. Why everybody want to wait? Remember I told you that was people always want to wait until it done passed over and they're late now. Stop jumping out to attack me. Why? Not because it hurt. It doesn't hurt me when you do that. You're just wasting your energy. I'm telling you, save your energy. You ain't realized this shit a brick wall yet? Why y'all jumping out there throwing stones? You don't see me weave. Listen, all these prophecies that were saying that this was going to mess me up, that was going to mess me up, coming out against this one was an error. You should never say nothing about this one. They've been saying that shit for years. And what it seems to be is the phase one platform just keeps growing. And the phase one El Qadir rhythm just keeps spreading. They're wrong. Like, how wrong do you got to be before you recognize the delusion in a nigga? How wrong does a man have to be before you recognize and acknowledge the delusion in them? I mean, it's delusional. You with me? Say, oh, you just cursed your platform. Listen, they don't know who they up against. I said, this is not for extra, and this is not the little yellow king. That's magic right there. To call out their targets, which people don't know that they're their targets. Call out their targets in front of the world. Put you in a circle in front of the world. You have to come to my platform and say, you cursed your platform. No, what you did was you opened up a window. This becomes a window seat. Now I have control over you, dominion over you, because I'm not going to your platform. I'm not hidden follow. I'm not inviting you to come and work with you already bent over and grabbed your ankles for these elites. So you playing in a field that I'm not playing in. Y'all see that? You already done sold your soul to these people. And they got you. Puppet strings dangling you in front of the masses. So then when it's my turn to push that button, what can you do other than attempt to, like I showed y'all or what he showed y'all on that live stream, attempt to join forces? What I told y'all, don't join them ever. Remember I said it. What I say, if you can't, what they say, what's the people say, you can't beat them, what? Join them. I said, that's a misconception. If you can't beat them, find another way to beat them. Don't stop there. You can at that moment. You can't beat them. Become the them and have it be that they got to join you. You got to get on my frequency. What I look like. Remember they tried to play it. I'm going to pay you. You can't pay me because I don't want your money. That was clear. Listen, that was clarity for everybody trying to say Faise One is at the money. Then why didn't I accept it with a nigga like, I'm going to pay you? Why didn't I be like, you know what? You right. Let's work. I should have been, if I'm the clout chasing trying to get on everybody wave after some money, per what he said, I should have been the first nigga to jump on that opportunity. That ain't no opportunity to me. Why would I work with you? You're beneath me. Some of us are granted that authority to tread over the snakes and the serpents and the scorpions, all of them. They confused. They don't know who this is, what this is. All they know is they have to stand down when the voice pops up. All right, I'm about to get out of here. I love y'all. Make sure y'all stay in tune. Shout out to everybody. I think we almost hit 3,000. Shout out to everybody who's been rocking with the GoFundMe. Okay, we've been to turn it up, make it more interesting. However, for those of y'all who are on here, it's 100-some people on here. Everybody drop $10 in the GoFundMe when y'all get out of here. Greatly appreciate loved. All right, and we just going to keep moving. It ain't no rush. It's just we're going to get it done. So to be at almost 3,000 already, and I think it's been a few days, this ain't me. This ain't my doing. This is us coming together to say we're going to get it done. So much appreciate love. If you can't do 10, do 5. I'm not trying to sting nobody. I know 1440. I know the bills be hollering. I'm not even on that wave. I'm just on the wave of everybody let's come together and get something big done that they can't stop. They can't stop it. Either way, I love y'all. Peace in the Lamb. It's truly wonderful. Hadus Ashur. Divine love.